Yes lads, how is it going? I'm excited to be making a video, being able to speak here, being able to talk to whoever wants to listen. How's it going? How are you? How's your vibration? How's your day been? I'm going to do some deep breaths quickly because I'm on my break from work. This video is semi-planned. I reckon it will be better than most. I'm getting a lot better with time. Expect to see improvements, but yeah, I'm on my break from work, so I need to breathe because the warehouse environment literally causes mental illness, and like, it's just artificial lights, radio, stupid people, and like, I'm sorry, but like, and this is one of the main points of what I'm going to talk about today, is kind of what I wish I knew when I was younger, just general life advice for the youth. It's semi off the cuff. I've written a few notes on the labels because I'm in a warehouse where I'm just like, I'm literally like I'll be replaced by a robot soon. I'm just putting labels on CDs, like music discs, and they've only got Babylon music in there mainly. I mean, like, you know, the mainstream thing. So like, my job is helping perpetuate the Matrix while working in the Matrix, in a Matrix culture, while dishing out Matrix music. However, I have to be careful, and you'll notice I said this recently as well, somewhat. It's like, I have to basically be careful it's already too late to an extent, and I'm gonna leave oxsn. Like, right now, my name is oxsn on the internet. Everything that I do is under hashtag oxsn, oxsn. I'm going to leave that name. I actually may even change my real, actual government name, even though it doesn't fucking mean anything really, in a way. Because, to tie it into what I was just about to say, is like, I have to be careful with, like, if I start the video by going, Matrix, like, I done a different video in this car a few weeks ago on my break as well. Yeah, I think I started to, like, I started to speak on, like, chemtrails or contrails, whatever. I'm not trying to tell you facts or whatever right now, that's irrelevant. But what I'm saying is, like, basically, if I start the video with, like, outlandish claims, half of the potential audience will not be ready to hear it, or it maybe will... they maybe will go elsewhere because it's too radical. I'm not saying it's inherently true, but what I mean is, for example, like, there's a music artist, a rap artist that I really like, called Mr. Traumatic. I made a video a long time ago called How Mr. Traumatic Saved My Life, and it was this rap artist, and he has a lot of good stuff to say. Like myself, I believe I have a lot of good stuff to say. However, this rap artist also has a lot of radical, outlandish claims that, for those who don't resonate with those claims, it can kind of like... basically, I have good stuff to say. I know I have good stuff to say, but I have to be smart about how I say it, in what structure, because if I just start the video and just go, "You are God, wake up," then most people are gonna be kind of like hesitant in a way, where like the artist Mr. Traumatic, I found this rap artist when I was young, and again, this will dovetails with the video that I'm doing now, which is general life advice for the youth. This rap artist, yeah, he has a lot of good stuff to say, and I stumbled upon him in my youth while working in these Matrix warehouse jobs, and I had no idea about health because my parents didn't tell me anything about health. They never instilled it as a value or a virtue. I was just fed pot noodles and shit for my childhood, yeah, and again, dovetails with how I started this video is how there's stupid people everywhere. That is one key point, and it dovetails with the whole holistic topic of what I'm going to be talking about, is life advice for youth, is be wary, because there are genuinely stupid people very often. Like obviously everyone can, to an extent, like, you're free to live your own life, in a way. I'm not trying to make everyone be the same as me, like, inherently, but I just mean, like, in general, like, yeah, there's just a lot of stupid people, like people who just don't care or even think about their health at all, or like they just go to work and they just, like, I don't know, like, I'd love to have intellectual constructive conversations with a lot of people, but I can't because they're not intellectual. That's it. Yeah, it's just even this, like, super rational scientific guy I met, like a colleague, we were having a debate. Like, I was like our metaphysics were different. Like, he's like a rationalist, materialist, scientific paradigm, and I was into, like, psychedelics and awakening and things. And even he said most people are unthinking, because I said to him he has a gift. Like, he actually thinks, even though I disagree with the scientific paradigm. Do they call it Darwin's theory? I'm not sure. Vaguely quoting that from Bruce Lipton and Aubrey Marcus's podcast they done recently. But yeah, most people are unthinking. So yeah, there's stupid people everywhere. And I was one of those stupid people, is what I was saying. If I can stay on topic, I'll try my best. So I was one of those stupid people lost in the poverty grid of Western culture, working wage slave jobs. Yeah, when I was 16 years old, I got a job at Subway, which is a fast food poison. I neglected school partly because it's indoctrination. Humanity is still in the dark ages. I feel like my higher, deeper intuition, like my higher self, knew that. And that's partly why I didn't resonate with the school system, because the school system pushes a material paradigm. They don't know nothing about psychedelics. All the teachers are thick. Like, the teachers in the Western schools, like, a lot of them, again, none of those teachers really care about their health for the most part, and they have, like, messed up relationships behind the scenes. Like, the teachers, like, I don't know, it's kind of like how the health secretary, if you've seen the health secretary of the UK, she's like a fat piece of shit. She shouldn't be the health secretary. I'm not saying she is a fat piece of shit, like, that sounds mean. I looked at myself then at the camera when I said that. I thought, who do I think I am? But it is what it is. Like, if you're going to be the health secretary, like, she clearly, I don't know, it's mad. It's like with COVID, like they're telling everyone to wear the mask and get the injections, but they don't tell anyone about health or food quality or breath work or ice therapy or psychedelics or the placebo effect or epigenetics or how the environment is actually making us sick. I do intuit, I understand that everything needs contrast, but I was saying this to Mr. Nature not long ago. I was like, why is all of the food poison? Like why? Like, and he's like, oh, because everything needs contrast. But again, I'm saying, like, why are we in a grid of concrete? Why have we, like, destroyed nature? Like, they're on about, like, climate change. It's like, yeah, it's because we're killing the environment. Like, we need more fucking trees. Nature is the solution. Nature is the key. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's like spiritual warfare. Like, why was I born into a grid of poverty and fed poison and sent into, like, an indoctrination education system and injected with poison? And, like, a lot of people as well, like, I've noticed this about a few of my old quote-unquote friends, like, the teachers in the education system, and a lot of my old zombie friends, but I evolved, so I've left them now. Basically, like, Mr. Traumatic has a lyric, people hate themselves, no one hates you. And it's like, what I've noticed is, when I meet some of my old friends and they're so unhappy with their life, subconsciously, I don't even know if they're aware of it, they just lie to themselves because they're in denial, because most of this culture is in denial because the pain is too much. But like, yeah, so basically, like, so some of the teachers or just people in general, a lot of people in life, be wary of this. People hate their lives so much, they're so unhappy with their situation, that they actually get joy out of bringing other people down. I've noticed that, like people who actually love themselves and have a growth mindset, they like, it's not that you can't point out criticisms in my life or people's lives, it's that, like, it's constructive. But people who hate themselves and their life, if they can trick themselves into thinking that everyone else is also a piece of shit, it makes them feel more comfortable with being a piece of shit. It's kind of how, like, envy or jealousy works in a way, where, like, I've noticed this with myself in the past, but I've now brought it into my consciousness and I'm deconstructing it. Like, I've done a podcast with KT, or Quintessence Music, and she's, like, nearly got a feature on a rap song with Mr. Traumatic. Mr. Traumatic was commenting on her post and sending voice messages and sharing like, oh, I really rate your lyrics, you're gonna go far, keep it up. And when I saw my friend, like, succeeding, I subconsciously was, like, jealous, and I deconstructed it immediately, but it was like, it's the crabs in a bucket analogy, where, like, it basically, if I'm failing with my own personal development, that can be so hard to stomach, that when I see other people succeeding with their personal development, it almost hurts to watch other people succeed because I'm failing. I'm not saying I am failing, I'm talking hypothetically. So therefore, it dovetails with everything that I was just saying in the past couple of minutes, is that people love to bring other people down because they hate themselves and they're not succeeding. So if I'm not succeeding, I brought it into consciousness and deconstructed it, so I'm not like that. But yeah, just people can, like, just old friends do it to me. Like, they're not friends, they're mates. And yeah, they like I notice, like, when I rarely meet these old mates, they put me down. Like, they literally, like, oh, like, what you doing? Like, they criticize, they pick holes, and they construct for themselves why I'm shit. And if they can make me feel like, if they can convince themselves that I'm shit in their minds, then they feel better about themselves because they're shit. But the difference is, I'm trying to improve, but they're not. They are just coasting and basically waiting to die. Like most of this culture, just drinking and eating shit, like unconscious death urge, like what, just waiting to die. Like, I don't get it. Like, no one, like, why is everyone so stagnant? And this dovetails, right, stagnant is what I'm going to come back to. People are stagnant. People don't have a growth mindset. So don't waste time debating with people who are stagnant. Don't waste time trying to win arguments with people who don't even look after their own health or their children's health or their lineage health. If you don't even care about your own growth and your own life, I can't debate you. If you're actually happy with working a fucking warehouse job for 60 years, then I have nothing to say to you, because you're drinking the Kool-Aid, you're drinking the tap water, and you're thick. Anyway, so yeah, I'll get back to that. Stagnant. People are stagnant. Don't have time for stagnant people, okay? If you have a growth mindset, and if you don't, I adopt one, especially if you're in your youth. It's better sooner than later. It's never too late. If you say it's too late, you are making excuses. The sooner you bite the bullet, the easier. Stop resisting yourself, like most of this culture is. To tie in the loose ends of a point that I kind of forgot about in a way, so yeah, in terms of me like having to be careful about how I start the videos in order to not detract potential audience is yeah, so with this rapper that inspired me and changed my life, he's very radical. He says all sorts of things. He's like, we live in a holographic simulation matrix, energy extraction matrix. Parasitic archons have infiltrated the holographic simulation, and we're in an energy extraction matrix, and there's parasitic demons and a holographic metaverse of artificial intelligence. To hear all of that crazy shit when I'm an NPC, that meaning I'm asleep. Like, basically, yeah, so I all my life, like I say, I was working fast food jobs in like Subway and Domino's Pizza, and I'm in these warehouse robot factories. So I'm brainwashed by culture, by the fake education system that I was forced into. I was drinking their juice, I was drinking the fluoride, I was listening to their music, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. I've written a note about that, about how everyone's listening to fake music and it's brainwashing them. So I was listening to the fake music that the radio promotes all my life. And then I find this Mr. Traumatic rap artist, and he has a lot of good stuff to say. He's educating me through conscious lyrics. Check out the Conscious Rapper community. I'm making a music video for them right now. It will be done very soon. And I'm working with them, and they are my friends, and we're a team, and we're going to prosper. So Conscious Rapper community on Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube in the future when I hurry up and finish this music video I'm making. So yeah, when I hear Mr. Traumatic, so he has a lot of good stuff to say. Like me, I have good stuff to say. I have valuable stuff that you are going to want to hear if you want to save yourself from regret and disease and a shit life. If you don't notice around you, most people have mediocre results. Most people are just working dead-end jobs, and they have mediocre results. There's no passion in their lives. Most people are actualizing less than 1% of their capacity as a human being. If you want more than that, I recommend you listen to me, and I recommend you pay attention to some of the stuff that I'm pointing to. If you don't want to end up like this geezer, fucking driving lorries around all day, unless that's really your highest passion, but unless you want to end up doing shit like this for 60 years in a place like this, I recommend you pay attention to some of the things that I'm pointing to. Not all of them, but some of them. Cherry pick. Not everyone's perfect. All of the public intellectuals, and say again, Mr. Traumatic and other like-minded people within the Conscious Rapper community, we all have a piece of the puzzle. I have a piece of the puzzle. The people that I'm pointing to have a piece of the puzzle, but very rarely will you find a absolutely holistically integrated person who has every piece of the puzzle. Like, there's trade-offs. People can be like super enlightened, like Mr. Nature, like in God consciousness realization. It's like, okay, but then like everyone, yeah, there's a quote, Brandon Roberts told me this quote, or Cameron Roberts, his brother. Every man is superior in their own way, or his own way. Every man is superior in his own way. So some people may be more enlightened and more in Buddha mind than others, but some people may have more money and material wealth than others. So like, it depends what you value. Like, if you want material wealth, then great. Like, I've heard that some people can be completely content with being homeless and just drinking on the street. Like, that's a good, like, basically, it's up to you to define what is the good life. For me, a good life is, I like doing these intellectual talks and talking about my passions and sharing people who saved me, like Mr. Traumatic. It's now my dharma, so to speak, or my life purpose, to repeat the pattern. I found value in the stuff that I have found, so I'm sharing what I have found in hopes that you will find value in it. What was I saying? I'm sorry, I'm trying to get better with being less sporadic. I've literally, I haven't even got to the core topic. This is like a preface, and I'm running out of time because my break is nearly over. I have to go back into my fucking job. But let me tie up what I was saying with Traumatic. And so Traumatic has a lot of radical stuff to say. He also has a lot of good stuff to say. The radical stuff is good, but same with me. When me and Traumatic are interchangeable for what I'm speaking about right now, is that I have a lot of valuable stuff to say. I know I do, okay? I've also said a lot of kind of stupid stuff in the past. I'm not perfect, but I've got a growth mindset. I also am perfect, because everything's perfect. You're perfect, but also not. Reality is a paradoxon, and you are in the center of that paradox. And again, that's why some men are superior in certain dimensions and some others are not. It depends how you value, what your values are, what you want. So again, that's what I was saying. Sorry, I remember now. Is so for me, this is what I want to do. I want to grow my platform and speak my truth and help people and repeat the pattern that saved my life. But to other people, they don't understand at all. They don't want anything to do with it. I want personal development. The good life to me is understanding reality, understanding myself, understanding life, and being fruitful and health and things. Other people, one of my colleagues in this warehouse, the only thing he seems to be able to speak about is pussy. All he want, I don't know, it's just sex, basically. And each to their own, if that's the good life for him. If I try to talk to him about health, again, like I say, I love to have intellectual constructive conversations with everyone, but no one wants to have them because that's simply just not what they're interested in, I guess. Some people are genuinely content with driving lorries around and shit because, so do you remember potentially there was these kids in school, some people are really in love with trains or buses. They just really want to be a bus driver. That's their spark. That's what makes them love. That's their love. There's things in reality. Anything I adore is a door to the Lord. So, yeah, if that's what you love, then fine, do that. I guess there's nothing wrong with that inherently. But if you are inspiring the people that I'm around, if you're going to inspire the generation of my culture, because what I mean is people say, you can do whatever you want, as long as you're not hurting anyone. But then again, I don't know, it's tricky business. If you might be hurting people in indirect, less obvious ways. Like the LGBT, I'm bisexual. I know I am. I can be attracted to certain people of the same sex. But then, see, I'm not getting to the main topic. I'm sorry, I'm just ranting around. But I mean, basically, there doesn't seem to, on the surface in a way, I don't know, is there anything wrong with being gay? And this, I'm on the fence about this. Don't click off. I don't know if I should be or not. In a way, what I'm saying is maybe I got brainwashed and inspired by the LGBT community, which I'm not a fan of most of that. But what I'm saying is oh, you can do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anyone. It's But if you're inspiring like the youth to be gay or bisexual, you could be indirectly hurting them. Look, I've failed this video. It's because my break's nearly over. I tried to squeeze it all into one. But anyway, yeah, I did not get to what I wanted to. Let's see if I can squeeze it in. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is, if I have to structure my stuff wiser, because the way that I was going about it originally is I would just take loads of magic mushrooms and just rant into the camera. Wake up, people, wake up, you're all brainwashed, wake up. But most people aren't ready to hear it like that. I am, because I've done enough mushrooms. But basically, yeah, so when I was an NPC, I was working these wage slave jobs. I was programmed by my culture, by the radio, by the schools. So when Mr. Traumatic was talking about these way more radical things, you almost have to work your way up to it. Like, this kind of dovetails with I've spoke about in previous episodes. Like, I have to dumb myself down in order to talk to some people. Like, for example, like the colleague that, like I said, he only speaks about sex. He can't bring himself up to my level to have a conversation like-minded to what I want to. But I can bring myself down to his level to have a conversation what he's like-minded to. You see? Like, yeah, it's almost like, I've said this before as well, stupidity is breedable. Because smart people can understand and see through stupid people, but stupid people cannot comprehend, understand, or grasp hyper-intellectual people. So that's what I'm saying, is to tie up the loose ends with the Mr. Traumatic analogy and with me starting it, ranting about the Matrix and chemtrails and shit. I have to be careful because I can't reel anyone in. Like, if you're already on my side, then great. But like, if I'm looking to wake up sheeple, if I just rant like crazy, unless they're an old soul, they won't resonate with what I'm saying. I have to dumb myself down to their level and then slowly deconstruct their life and reality in order to open it up. But that's it. It's like, if you're too radical from the get-go, most people are not ready to hear it. I said that, I wrote down here, ready to hear. You have to be ready to hear it. If you're in denial, if you have bad habits, if you have trauma, a lot of you simply aren't ready to hear. I wasn't ready to hear a lot that Mr. Traumatic had to say until fairly recently. You're likely, a lot of you maybe are not ready to hear a lot of that I have to say. I wasn't ready to hear a lot that Leo Gura had to say. I wasn't ready to hear a lot that Mr. Nature had to say. I'm now more and more ready to hear what Mr. Nature has to say and understand it, because I've worked on myself. You can only entertain ideas that you are ready, that your trauma and that your level of development is ready to entertain. If you're familiar with spiral dynamics, basically there's like a map of the levels of evolution of humanity. It's like almost linear, where like you start at something like stage red, you go up to stage blue, then at the top there's turquoise, and like basically depending on your level of development is whether or not you are ready to hear certain teachings. Spiritual teachings at the top, primal instincts at the bottom. I'm gonna go do some grounding, really, because my break is over, so I'm gonna go dash over to some grass and put my feet on the grass, because the grass is electric and it will make my energy less dense super quick. So I'm gonna go find some grass super speedily and do that. But yeah, so I literally didn't even get to the topic, but let me just quickly, the list that I did write down, let me just go over it. Stupid, mediocre. I said that before, yeah. Most people got mediocre results and they're stupid. Most people, they just want the easy path. Most people just avoid discomfort and pursue pleasure. They avoid pain and they pursue pleasure. And that is literally the vast majority of this culture. Yeah, everyone's running at 1%. Another thing I wrote on here, advice for the youth, is to slow down. What I mean is, slow your mind down. Don't be stressed, like, because when I first heard about personal development, I was under the impression, like, certain people were telling me, like, you know, you've only got so much time to personal develop, you know, like, how old are you? Like, if you've only just found this video, then you're probably 30 odd years old. I'm 20. You're 30 years old, you know, you're running out of time to personal develop. So, like, basically, I was under the impression, like I got into this, like, stressed, like, it's wiser to slow down and, like, take in your environment and, like, be slower and more strategic than, like, to be racking your brain, like, quick, I need to save myself before it's too late. I've just realised that my whole culture is a lie. I need to wake up quickly before it's too late. That's not the right way to go about it. You should be slower and, like, more compassionate with yourself and more, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, to be honest. Yeah, just doing the grounding, that's the, yeah, just touch your feet on the grass, and the grass, oh, it feels so fresh. Your feet just, like, in your shoes all day, like, oh my god, I should have been out here the whole fucking time. There's a lot of science behind it as well. It's really good for you. I've been doing a lot of this recently, a lot of sunlight, a lot of ice baths. Oh fuck, I'm gonna integrate ice baths into my whole shtick, by the way. I've been doing them a lot recently, they're changing my life. Yeah, what's your paradigm? Are you a scientist, materialist, or do you believe that this is a dream? Like, how do you not know that you're not dreaming? So what's the paradigm? Do you believe that you are bacteria on a rock in space, or are you dreaming? What's the difference between a dream at night compared to when you supposedly wake up? Or have you just dreamt that you've woke up and it seems vivid and it's just a grand illusion? So what is your paradigm? What is your metaphysics? Big picture, yeah, be very holistic, big pictures. In terms of me, like I said, I'm trying to think of a new name. If I can recall, yeah, a lot of the new names, some of the new words that I'm trying to integrate into my new name is holistic, holon. Being holistic is the biggest picture perspective in terms of, like, holistic just means, like, yeah, scope. I thought scope was a cool rap name, like MC Scope. And scope means breadth times depth. So wide coverage, but also depth of wide coverage. So, like, I'm not just talking about enlightenment, like Mr. Nature is, basically. I'm not just talking about money, which Alex Hormozy is. I'm not just talking about, like, I'm not just coming from ego. It's about a balance. Like, life is about balance. Like, it's about holistically integrating and balancing different facets. And yeah, just, like, yeah, just don't be one-dimensional. You have to, like, be, yeah, breadth and depth, which means scope, basically. That's the definition of scope. Be wide, big picture thinking in terms of, like, again, it dovetails with slowing down, like, where am I? Yeah, where are you coming from as well? Like how did I get here in terms of, like, what's your approach to life? Because me, I just feel like all of a sudden, here I am. How did I get here? How did I get into this body? And we're in the same boat, if you're honest with yourself. Like, I mean, not that I don't have theories and, like, I feel like understand that I did actually choose this incarnation once upon a time when I was God, before I limited myself, or whatever the fuck. But again, these are two, that's what I mean. When I start saying, oh, I was God, and then I chose to limit myself as God, if I start saying this radical stuff from the get-go at the start of the video, I'm gonna, like, deter everyone away before they realise that I actually have some good shit to say. I gotta go now. Yeah, like, where are you coming from? What's your approach? Because for me, I'm like, it almost feels like a prison. Like there's a YouTube channel called School Trap. And it's called School Trap because it's you're like forced into this fucking matrix, but you learn while you're here. So yeah, it's like, I don't know. But yeah, like, where are you coming from? What's your approach to life? Because me, I feel like a soul going through an incarnation. Anyway, I got to go back into the matrix now. But yeah, I'm getting a lot more practical and focusing on escaping the warehouse matrix. So I've done this at the end of the other video. Ready for the contrast? Have a listen.
He's going to go like the wind now, or fart like the wind, one or the other.
You know me.
No, I don't really know you, so I can't really answer that, can I? Stupid.
Californication is playing on the radio. If you know, you know. You don't know me. You don't know what I'm doing.